Hi everyone. A viewer recently requested that I do a video on how to heal from childhood wounds. Um, and I think that this is a really important topic for us to share about together. Because for many of us, many of the people that I work with or people that watch my videos have had difficult experiences in their childhood, and they find that or we find that we end up carrying those experiences. We end up repeating them as adults in various ways through different relationships and experiences as adults who have been able to leave the difficult situations that we were in as children or the difficult periods of our life that we faced when we were younger. And so this is something that for many of us, we heal from continuously throughout the rest of our lives. And this is something that I have a feeling that there will be more than one video on, and that I will be interviewing other healers on how they've been able to heal through certain experiences in their life. So for those of you who don't know that much about me, I'm not going to get into this in depth, just briefly. I was raised by very strict Jehovah's Witnesses, and I had a very difficult experience of that religion, and an experience of how it is to live in a way that you have no say about how you're going to be living your life, and that you have to do what someone is telling you need to do until you're old enough to leave. And then when I was finally able to leave as an adult, I was and have been completely disowned by my family and all the people that I knew growing up. And if you follow this religion strictly, then the only people in your life, the only people you have anything to do with, are people in that religion. So actually leaving that way of living is very scary for young people who grow up in that religion, and in other religions and cults that are very similar to that way of living. So there certainly has been a lot for me to look at as far as letting go and healing from those experiences. And so I think I'd like to start talking about this together by using some cards from tarot, because that has certainly been a major way that I was able to heal from the experience. But also just kind of sharing what I have been able to do for myself to come to a space of living authentically, following my bliss, and being very happy and fulfilled in my life. So what I want to share with you first is that if you are going through a time in your life when a lot of memories from that space are coming up, or if you're trying to leave a certain way of living that's been passed down to you, or leave a very difficult, perhaps dangerous situation in your life, it is important for you to realize that you can heal from these experiences. You can heal from these experiences, and you can come to a space where you really are feeling very grounded and happy in the life that you're living now, and where you're feeling safe as well. Safe to be yourself and to understand who that self really is. So I also want to share with you that it is a journey. It's a journey to get there. And so I'm going to show you images from the Six of Swords for this. And I'm also going to show you the Eight of Cups as well from tarot. So Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups can help you to see that experiencing healing in your life, whether you experienced a traumatic childhood or just certain incidences that had a major impact on your belief about yourself and life, and being someone with a voice who can be heard in their life. The Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords are letting us know that this whole life is a journey. And so there are times in our life when it's good for us to heal, to release memories, beliefs about ourselves that aren't serving us any longer. And so that's very empowering. And I think what also comes to mind for me is the Ace of Cups, because what we're being handed when we have a realization, or we're really feeling that we've experienced a lot of pain, the Ace of Cups then reaches out to us and says that this is a huge gift and an opportunity for healing. So I want to share with you that it is a journey, and you should be very patient and loving with yourself and understanding of yourself as you go through this journey. There will be times when you feel extremely empowered, extremely joyous, and you are just ready. You're ready to release everything and step into just being who you truly are, and you'll feel so empowered and filled with joy. And there will be moments when you feel sad, lonely, scared, and that you could never really be yourself. You may find that you have moments like that. I know I still to this day have moments like that. So it's important to be very loving and understanding of yourself, that you're on a journey of healing and releasing, and that the healing and releasing happens in layers. And so it's important to know that it's not that you're ever finally done in this form. You're always getting to a new layer and a new layer, and there is a fulfillment that comes with knowing that as you release, there's more to release. There's more and more to understand about yourself and about life. Now, so another piece of healing that was very important for me on my journey, and that again took me time to be aware enough to realize that I had gone through a lot of trauma in my childhood, in my teen years. I needed time to come to an understanding of the trauma that existed for me. But then it became very important, once I had that time, to really sit with the pain of the rejection that I was facing, but also my life experiences. I then had to realize that I had a choice. And for this part of the discussion, I want to show you the Five of Cups, okay? Because this is letting you know that you do have a choice when you've experienced a lot of things, a lot of difficulty or pain or trauma in your life. You have a choice to either stay in the mode of victim and feeling incredibly sad and hurt, and that you have no control, and that people are just taking advantage of you, and that you're going to continue to repeat this cycle of being a victim for the rest of your life. So you can choose to stay in that space of sadness and of fear, or you have a choice to step out of that space and to really be in your power. And that's why I share with you the Five of Cups for this part of this journey of healing from childhood wounds, because you can stay in the Five of Cups. Okay, and an image that might be really helpful for you to look at is the Five of Grails in the Tarot of Vampires. I think that image really just sticks in my mind with what it's like to stay in victim mode, in grief mode, and in martyr mode, where we can't get out of that space. It's really important to step out of that space by realizing that you're the creator of your life. You're the creator of your reality. And for me, it was really important to understand, and incredibly healing to understand. And I worked with Kuan Yin for a lot of this time. So if you feel drawn to work with Kuan Yin, if you're really trying to heal some trauma from your life experience, Kuan Yin is a wonderful goddess to work with for this. But I really came to understand that I chose this entire experience before I came into it. Now, when you first hear that, it might be really scary, because you say to yourself, well, I'm not a masochist. I didn't choose to be sexually abused, or to be physically abused, or to be raised in a terribly painful situation with parents that were just awful. We're taking away our story, and we're taking away the okay for us to not do anything and to stay stuck when we start to take control and when we start to understand that we have made the choice to have this experience. But if we can shift from that mode into an understanding of the power that comes from understanding that we chose the parents that we were born to, that we chose the life experience that we had as children, as teenagers, and that we're having now as an adult, we really understand the amount of power that we have and the freedom that we have from being the creator, creatrix of our experience. And it was incredibly freeing for me to have that time after the grief to understand the grief of knowing that, just what my life experience had been, and that I was going to be alone, except for my husband, who very lovingly supported me emotionally, physically, in every way through the whole experience of leaving my childhood life behind. Understanding that we have the power to really change because we chose to come into this experience is incredibly freeing. And it's also, for me, because I know that in this physical life, I won't ever be able to speak to my parents again. It was very healing for me to understand that I chose to have this experience with them as spirit energy, as divine energy. And they chose to come in and have this experience with me. And that was incredibly healing for me to understand that all of us at spirit level, we made an agreement together to have this experience for the expansion of our own beings, and to have the contrast of what we wanted to have as energy around us and what we didn't want to have. So we chose to come in together as a group of humans and play out this experience together. And that was incredibly healing for me. And it really helped me to step out of victim mode of I'm so broken and I will never be whole and I can never have joy in my life. It really helped me to step out of that space into a space of empowerment. So once we allow ourselves to move through the understanding that this is a journey we're experiencing, the healing that needs to happen through this, and that yes, it is important for us to really feel the sadness of the experience, the pain of the experience, then we have to step into a role and a mode for ourselves, and an understanding that we have the power and it's up to us to make the choice to really be happy and fulfilled in our lives. It's much easier to blame them and to say, well, because of this, I can't ever have a good or happy or fulfilled life. But the real joy comes from understanding that we have the power to have the life that we want to have, and to really live it and to really feel it in every moment of our lives. So that was a very important aspect of me in healing from my childhood experience, was understanding that I chose to come in this experience, and I chose every experience that I had. And I did have instances of, I did have an experience of sexual abuse as a child as well. So understanding that I chose and co-created that experience, not in physical form. So I want to be really clear about that. There's no guilt attached to understanding that the pain of the sexual abuse that I ended up dealing with, the pain of the experience that I had being raised in the religion I was, and everything that went along with that, which it is another video. It has nothing to do with any of this, really. It's not important. It's honestly not important, so there won't be another video. The experience of being raised in the religion that I was, and then the experience of miscarrying as many times as I did before we ended up having Vincent. All of these things, there was no victimhood attached to those things anymore. Instead, it became for me about what is the lesson that I can learn here, and how can I grow, and how can I release these experiences? How can I stop living them again and again and again when they're not even happening right now any longer? So stepping into the power of understanding that I'm a co-creator of the experience, and for me, for my personal belief, that I chose to come in and have this experience, and that I am divine source energy myself as well. So there is source, but I am also source. That was incredibly healing for me. Another part of my journey that was really healing was to understand and feel and experience the sacred feminine as an energy and as a spiritual energy that was equally as valid and important as the sacred masculine. That was a really important aspect of healing for me. So I've taken a lot of time and I spent a lot of years honoring the sacred feminine and feeling that in my body, beginning to feel and understand in my body that sexuality is spirituality, that this body is not something to be ashamed of or to feel shame about, and to really release that and to understand that this is part of the experience. That's why I chose to come in a body for this life. This is part of the experience. So that was very, very healing for me, to open up to the sacred feminine as even a possibility, and then to start interacting with that. And so if you found that for you, you need to interact with the sacred masculine energy in order to heal, then that's something to step into as well. For myself now at 30, I'm beginning to understand over the past year that, okay, I've been healing the feminine, I've been healing the female. Now I need to turn and focus on healing the masculine within the self, and to healing my relationship with masculine energy as spiritual as well. Because let me tell you, I had to say for quite a few years, I can't look at the masculine as sacred, as spirituality, because my experience with it has been completely negative. So once you start to heal one part of that duality of the spiritual experience, then you begin to see that you can heal the other aspect, and then you see that they marry, and they really do become the temperance card for us. The masculine and the feminine marry together and they become spirit itself. And here's the temperance card from tarot. And the Lovers also ties into that energy as well. So that's an important way that we begin to heal childhood wounds, is to first of all accept within ourselves what is divine and spiritual, find that within ourselves and honor that, revere it within ourselves, and then begin to heal the other aspects of ourselves that we can't even acknowledge, or that we're so stunted with from our experiences that we can't even look at them. But first it has to be about healing what feels good for us to heal. That's the first way through. At least that's been my experience. So I've had to start with the sacred feminine because I am female in this body. And I really needed to honor and hold that up as divine and feel good about being female first before I could start to venture into healing the masculine. So that's an important part of the journey for myself in healing childhood wounds as well, has been honoring and healing this being, this human body, and the sacred feminine, and now I'm beginning to heal the sacred masculine in my life as well. And when we can bring those into balance and we're able to honor both of those, then we're honoring spirit as a whole, we're honoring ourselves and all others as a whole as well. And that includes others in other realms that we may speak to spiritually, other beings, other dimensions that we may come into contact with. When we start healing those things, then all of these things come into balance and we begin to see the bigger picture. So it's extremely healing to work on what spirituality is for you, what you would like it to be, how you can step into that, how it can feel good for you. And then you can start peeling back more and more layers of other aspects of the spirituality. But this is a journey. Again, I first left my parents' religion when I was 19. I went back for a few years, and then I left in I think I was like 23, 24 when I left again. I believe so. So, again, it's about layers. It's about peeling back layers. And it's really about loving ourselves. When we've been through trauma as children, or had difficult experiences, or been exposed to things that were very life-changing for us in a negative way as children, it's really about empowerment and loving ourselves and peeling back the layers to heal ourselves and to feel good about ourselves, to honor ourselves as divine. And then we really begin to open up. So as I was experiencing this journey of grieving, then taking back the control of my life by understanding that I had chosen to have this experience, and then really examining my spirituality and healing and opening up to my spirituality. And that included honoring the intuition and the interdimensional experiences I had had as a child, not rejecting those any longer, but opening up to them and starting to see them as good things and being open to exploring them more and more, and starting to have experiences as an adult, again, of interdimensional energies, and coming into contact with those, and honoring that a pagan-based spirituality felt really, really good to me, felt like home, felt safe, felt inspiring for me. That was part of the healing process as well, after starting to take control, starting to understand that I had the choice to be happy or to be miserable for the rest of my life. So this process began happening. I started really healing my spirituality, looking at what felt good, what needed attention, what I wanted to experience for me as spirituality. That was extremely healing. And then I started to realize that, oh, I've been doing all this work myself, just my husband and I, really. There was no one else really around us. His family lived far away at the time. So it was really, really just the two of us, and kind of going through all these things and really healing these energies, these experiences within myself. Then I realized that, oh, I want to have positive spiritual experiences with others. And maybe I can share some of the inner knowings that I have and that I've experienced. And that's when I started to kind of open up energetically and be aware around me, at work. And my Reiki master teacher came in, and she was printing out flyers, and she just looked at me and said, do you know anything about Reiki? I think you should come. And I really had an understanding that I had to start having a group experience. I had to start interacting with other people in a positive way spiritually, and start to have friendships in my life as well with other people, especially women, that were positive for me. And so once I reached that level in my healing, then I could bring it outward into the outward experience with other people. And that became very healing and fulfilling for me. And through the Reiki trainings, I realized that I was a healer myself. And then tarot came into the picture, started to become a part of my path, and I started to understand, when I was working with these symbols and these archetypes, that I was unlocking the unconscious and really healing a lot of deep-seated issues for myself at another level. And that these cards could not only help me, but also help others to see where the wounds were within themselves that they didn't want to look at, just as the cards were helping me to do that. And as I've said before, it was a system that I understood immediately. Felt very good for me, felt very good to me. It still does. It's like home when I start working with cards. And that was very healing for me as well. Really spending time with the cards and letting the messages come through about what needed to be released and healed in that moment for myself. So not just learning the meanings, doing a spread, showing off kind of thing. Really spending time with the cards. That was incredibly healing for me. So that's really been a large part of how I've healed from childhood wounds. First, it really was entering into that dark moon cycle and just really needing to be by myself and just slosh through it and come to an understanding that I didn't want to live this way anymore, and that I didn't want to carry this stuff around with me anymore. Then I began to release by exploring what spirituality was for me, by exploring what needed to be healed within myself and honoring what needed to be healed within myself. And then sharing that experience with other like-minded people. And as you start to heal from these wounds and your vibration rises, as you begin to heal and release and start to feel good about yourself, good about the world, you'll find that as the vibration rises, then people come into your life that match that vibration, and there are like-minded people around you. And it's as simple as putting that signal out and being open from the heart chakra to have that experience. They will come to you. Stacy just walked through the door of the coffee shop that I worked in and said, "Do you know what Reiki is? I think you should do a Reiki training. I'm offering one this weekend if you'd like to come." When we're open, it will come to us. So I assure you that if you can put that out there when you're ready to, you will find that there are beautiful energies, beautiful people that come to you. And again, a lot of the healing for me was about getting back in touch with my intuition and the gifts that I chose to come in with, that we all have, for communication with other energies. And then I began to understand that it didn't matter who was around me, I really was never alone. And at any moment, I could have a conversation with another being. And at any moment, I could feel supported from my tribe, from my spirit tribe. So all of those things were very important to me. And I think when you're really at the beginning of starting to understand that you want to have a fulfilled and passionate life, that you want to love your life and you don't want to be stuck in the past, that's really when the Hierophant steps up. And I'm going to show you the image from the Paulina Tarot for the Hierophant. That's really when the Hierophant comes for us, because what he's asking us is, do you want to follow the safe path? Do you want to follow the path that everyone else is following or that you've been told you must follow? Or do you want to turn everything on its head and follow your bliss and take the hero's path, take the hero's journey? It's not for certain. It is going to be scary. And you might feel alone, but you're going to feel incredibly fulfilled in your life and incredibly joyful. And the Hierophant's always equaled that for me when I work with him, for myself and with others. You know, this is the fork in the road. This is a choice. It's time to make a real choice. And so the Hierophant is a real part of how we heal from childhood wounds. The High Priestess is a real part of how we heal from childhood wounds. It really is about us understanding what our own strengths are. It's a strength card. And choosing to be empowered in our existence. And most of all, most important, if you don't take anything else away from this video, loving ourselves as being beautiful. And I say that whether you're male or female, being beautiful, as being divine, there as being free from shame. That's the most important thing that we can do. So whatever you can do to help yourself feel good about yourself is what's going to help you to heal from the experiences that have impacted you in your life. That's the most important piece of advice I can give to you. So if you're listening to this and you're just starting your healing journey, spend some time with the Hierophant. Spend some time with the High Priestess. Really honor yourself. Do what feels good for you here. Do what makes you feel good here within. Allow the voices that you've chosen to believe that exist in this space from your life experience. Allow those to take a back seat and see what feels good here for yourself. It really does come down to loving yourself and knowing that you are worth everything. You're worth everything. Just as you are right now. You don't need to change a damn thing about yourself. You're already beautiful. You're already perfect. You're already divine. You're already a part of all that we wish to be in our lives. You're not divorced from your spirituality. You're not divorced from Source. You are a part of Source. You are beautiful, worthy, divine. You are lovable. You are loved unconditionally. And that's really where it starts. And that's really where it started for me as well. Starting to hear that voice and listen to it. And to feel like, oh, I could believe that about myself. I don't right now, but I could. That's where it really starts. So I encourage you to spend some time with that. And be gentle with yourself. Honor yourself. It is a journey. There are going to be the best moments in your life, and there will be moments when you feel like you're failing. I assure you that you're not. Allow yourself to release in that time when you feel like you're failing. Allow yourself to release when it feels tough. Honor every part of the journey. That's why you chose to come into this body. So I hope that this has given some clarity and inspiration to you. For the person who requested this video, for those of you that are really looking to heal childhood wounds, I hope that this gives you some clarity and some understanding that you most certainly can live a beautiful life where you do feel, as Esther Hicks has channeled through Abraham, what is it? Tuned in, turned on, tapped in. Oh my God, I just lost it. Tapped in, tuned in, turned on. There we go. Tapped in, tuned in, turned on. So you can live that life. And if you just open your eyes, you already are living it. So many blessings, much love to you all, and I will see you in the next video.